welcome. Um, so we're just kind of gonna start this whole thing off, I guess by giving you all of the officer descriptions that we have this year. Things are definitely gonna be a little different this year because of quarantine, and COVID and all of these regulations, but it's still gonna be a good year. Back to you, Emma.
Kind of starting off, I have all your numbers. You don't have to send them to me, but if you're watching this video on Instagram or somewhere else on like Remind or something, if you can DM us or text us on Remind your number, that would be awesome. So basically this year is going to look a little bit different because of COVID. We're going to have live services, most likely, for Mob. We already started doing Zoom Bible studies. Girls Wednesdays at 3, guys Friday at 8. Today's the exception. It's combined. Then we're also going to have Zoom leader meetings rather than in person, and we're having prayer circle on Instagram Live. So kind of the same time commitment, just in different ways and from the comfort of your own home, which is nice. Back to you, Juliana.
So basically what a normal schedule would look like, it would be services on Friday, leader meetings on Wednesday, and then we would have prayer circle in school. But since we can't even go near each other, prayer circle just wouldn't work out unless we were like 800 feet away from each other on opposite ends of the courtyard. So for now, at least for the first semester, we're gonna stick with all of the COVID regulations, and just move everything kind of live. Back to you.
Yeah, and also with that, as a leader, we will ask you guys to, Jenny's coming in. We would just ask you guys to help us come up with ideas for virtual things. Honestly, the floor, I don't know the saying, never mind. You guys have the floor, that's the saying, I think. So honestly, if you guys want to be a leader and you guys want to have ideas, we would love to hear them, especially with virtual, because we need ideas. And so back to you, Juliana.
And this year we definitely want to give you guys a lot of opportunities to do ministry. I know we had a lot of these ideas just kind of last year, but they didn't happen just because a lot of our leaders were seniors at the time, and there was just a lot of I guess like different time commitments or whatever. But this year we're determined to make it work. We're under different leadership, and so we really want to make this work. So some of the opportunities include a sermon writing workshop, worship leading workshop, and a Bible study leading workshop, along with I'm gonna probably have some of you guys throughout the year lead prayer circle, the prayer circle live, in the morning too, and also give you guys opportunities to write and deliver sermons for the mob. So we're definitely going to have a lot of opportunities for you. We're not going to force you into anything that you don't want to do, of course, but those opportunities are going to be there, and we're going to help you guys really just get stronger in your ministry, and your particular line of ministry. So
and also I just had a thought that we have not said at the other meetings, but also devotional videos online. I know that a couple of you guys have led them, which is cool. So we definitely want to have you guys do those more and maybe start that up again. So now we're going to move into the different positions that we have this year. Like Juliana said, we kind of made new positions, I guess, because everybody kind of everybody was just a leader, and so everybody could do anything, and you can still do anything, but we want to give you specific roles this year. So the first role, obviously, co-presidents, that's me and Juliana, and so basically, honestly, do not think that we are higher than you. Do not think that we have, we're better leaders than you. No, we're all at the same level, and we don't want you to think that we are deciding everything. We want you guys to know that we are going to listen to you in whatever ideas you have, in whatever ways you want to lead. We are so down to hear it. And yeah, you guys are right alongside us leading. So yeah, back to you, Juliana.
Yeah, going off of that, you guys definitely have a lot of just influence, and we see that influence. We're praying over all of you, and so we're definitely gonna have you guys do a lot of things, stay really involved, and especially I guess kind of like, doesn't matter what position you are, it doesn't matter if you're co-president or if you're just whatever position you have, you're gonna have opportunities to do super cool things. And so the next one is historian, and the historian is in charge of taking pictures and running our social media. So you would have all the codes to all of our social media stuff, the passwords or whatever, and also you would create graphics for like the little things on our Instagram, which is super needed. Basically, we wouldn't have too many opportunities to take pictures. But if we were to do things again, like the 6 feet apart picnic or whatever, you would be in charge of taking pictures then, and also spreading mob through Instagram. So finding new ways to connect with people through just the social media accounts. And we want people to feel included even from their homes. And that would definitely be something that you would be big on if you were to be historian. Back to you.
Yeah, and then the next one's outreach coordinator, which is kind of similar because your job is to connect with people. So normally at mob services, we have the door holder. Obviously, we can't have a virtual door holder. I don't know how that would work, but we still, so yeah, if we went back in person, obviously you would be the door holder, and not just the door holder. You have other jobs, and you would also just, we want to do communication forums, so kind of like communication cards at like churches, but for mob and online. So if people give their name and number, you can reach out to them, let them know that I'm glad that they came, and you also be praying for them, involved specifically in prayer. We'll all be praying for members, but you'll be involved specifically because you are the one reaching out to people. And yeah, also during like live services and Zoom meetings and whatever, you'll just, you'll be in the comments and you'll be reaching out to them, to people. If someone says something in the comments, you'll respond, and just stay active in there. And yeah, your main job would be connecting with people, which is really difficult during COVID, but that's why we need you like a lot. Yeah, back to you, Juliana, CEO of Nodding.
That's so funny. I do not a lot. Anyways, our next description is secretary. So if you're somebody that's super good at note taking, that likes all the highlighting stuff, all of the cool pens or whatever, I don't know. If you're a good note taker, this one's definitely for you. You would keep attendance for leader meetings and communicate to us about absences. Because I know last year we had some absences, and then people weren't too good about communicating. And then Key, who was my co-president last year, basically we would just be running around doing things, and then all of a sudden we were like, oh, this person can't come. And so the secretary would definitely like be in charge of that. And you'd also take notes at meetings in a shared doc with Emma and I. You would keep everything together. So your role is also super important if you plan on becoming the secretary. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, the next one is librarian / decoration manager. So basically, this year we want to have Bibles accessible for members of MOB. Obviously, if we were in person, we would have them in the room, and if someone doesn't have a Bible, they would be able to grab it and take it home, and it's theirs. Obviously, we can't do that in person, but we still want to be able to supply Bibles to those that need them. So your job would just be reaching out to people and seeing if they need a Bible and getting it to them, and definitely in a safe way, and we can help with that. And also, you don't have to pay for the Bibles. We got you. Yeah, we're not asking you to go buy a bunch of Bibles for Mom. And yeah, also your job is also to decorate the room for Mob. In person, you would decorate the room that we're going to be in directly after 7th period, or if you could get out a little early. And for live services, you'll just decorate the area that we're filming the live service, whatever that might look like. But yeah, if you have an eye for creativity and decorating, then that would be awesome. Back to you, Juliana.
Hi. Okay, so next up is the food/fundraising manager. And basically, this position would be, you would be in charge of, usually it would be getting food, and just finding ways to purchase food, because we usually have like snacks or like pizza in every single one of our services. But since we're going to be doing everything pretty much online, there's not really gonna be a way to get food to you guys unless we were to like teleport over to you. And so basically what you would do here, we still want to have fundraising opportunities, and you would definitely help coordinate that. You would basically be in charge of finding new ways, I guess, to just kind of figure out how to do fundraisers, things like that. And oh my gosh, my brain just exploded. Basically, those fundraisers, none of it would go to, like, the money didn't go to Emma or I. It would just go solely to the mob, and to doing little things. Like last year, we had a drive for a sex trafficking or against sex trafficking organization. And so we want to keep on doing things like that. You would also be in charge of designing T-shirts, because we want to have T-shirts for this year. We had that 2 years ago. And so you would definitely be in charge of designing that or finding somebody to design it, if you're not super into that, but you like the other descriptions. We're definitely open to new ideas with that description too. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, the next one is missions leader. So basically, your job is to communicate with ideas of ways to serve the community, which is difficult, especially with COVID, and we recognize that. But there are still ways to serve. Yeah, we have some ideas, maybe like a food drive, like Juliana said, and we can also talk with other TC clubs and see what they're doing. But yeah, also, Juliana mentioned yesterday that they've had performances at the mob, and it gets people coming that wouldn't normally come because there's someone performing there in like the beginning. So you could find people to perform online, which would be awesome. And any other ideas you have for missions. Missions is not confined to literal like service, like community service. Like it can be so many other things. So yeah, that would basically be your job.
Yeah, next up is worship leader. You would basically be the person that leads and coordinates and just gets everything together for the worship team. You would make sure the worship team feels fully comfortable doing in-person rehearsals and attending live streams. You would coordinate that together. You would kind of be the person, like the manager of the worship team. And so basically, like, you would just make sure that people would be able to, like, be with each other. And basically for worship, we're kind of planning on keeping everything acoustic. So maybe like a guitarist with a singer or a piano player with a singer. We want to keep it simple unless we get like more advanced sometime in the year, but we also want to keep people safe because COVID is still a thing. But the worship leader would coordinate that and make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and then with that we have worship team. So and you can, I'm sorry, my brain. You can also be on worship team and be another leader. So you can be like secretary and be on worship team. I'm sure that Juliana and I will both be on worship team because we can sing. So yeah, so yeah, you can definitely be multiple things, like especially with worship team. But basically, yeah, you are help leading worship. The worship leader will coordinate rehearsals and coordinate songs and whatever you're doing. But yeah, you would just show up, rehearse with them, help lead worship. And yeah, honestly, you can sing, you can play piano, you can play guitar, you can translate ASL, whatever you want. Worship is also not confined. Yeah, and also you would have to be at the live stream if you're comfortable. If not, we can wait for face-to-face and then you can be on worship team, or you can still be on worship team, but then you can actually lead worship. But yes, and then also, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I did not mention this at other places, but we can also do creative worship, and that could also be hand in hand with the decoration manager. But yeah, worship team, worship leader, and decoration manager can also head up creative worship if that interests you guys. So
Yeah, nice. Did you mention the audition requirement?
oh, no, I did not. Yeah. So there's an audition requirement, but it's not like an audition. Like, it's not like I'm going to see how good you are, and then we'll determine if you're on a worship team. It's just so that we can hear your voice or hear you play an instrument, so we can get an idea of, how you sound, basically, so that we can pair you in a right setting. We believe in your talents, we believe in your gifts, and we are not going to say you can't be on worship team because, no. Yeah, so.
Definitely. The audition is basically to see like who we want to pair together, all that stuff. But we're not about to shut down your creative talents. So yeah. Next up is the tech leader, and can I just say how important this is? This role is so important. Basically, you would be the one that would run our live streams. Because everything is now digital. You would help us transition into that digital thing. You would help us edit videos. If we were to have sound systems for worship, you would also do that. In PowerPoint for worship lyrics, you would kind of lead that. Tech leaders also talk to us if you end up as the tech leader, because we definitely want to help you. I know that's a lot of like kind of pressure, it sounds like sometimes, because everything is now digital. But we definitely need a tech leader, just somebody to help us, because I'm definitely not the most tech savvy person. Like, I can click the little live stream button, but how to pair things together, I'm just like, who? And so definitely need your help. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, and then the last one is connection crew. So basically, in the beginning, I was talking about how like last year we had leaders and they were just general leaders. That's basically your job. You're kind of just gonna be there for anything. So you might have a super fluid job. You might be one day doing something tech related, and then one day you might be helping decorate. Like, basically, you would just be available for any help needed. And also, you'd be available to give any ideas that you have and head up new things, which would be cool. And yeah, basically, another huge part of your job is reaching out and connecting with people, because that is so important, especially in a Christian community. We want people to feel loved. We want them to want to come back and want them to feel included. So that would be a huge part of your job. If people attend a live service, and you see that they're there, reach out to them later and be like, hey, like, thanks so much for coming. And yeah, just form relationships with people. That would be your job, which is super duper important. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've had like minor hiccups throughout this meeting, like actual hiccups. Sorry. And so basically, leadership applications. I know most of you, if not all of you, have already sent them in. But if not, there's a link to them. In the, I think we're gonna send out another link probably at some point. But it's also on our Instagram. There's a link to that. And also, yes, text at TCHS Mob to 810110 for a remind, and you will definitely get updates on things mob related there too. But leadership applications are due on August 21st. So that's kind of that Friday where everybody goes back to school. But they're due, yeah, that should be the form. And so, yeah, be on the lookout for that deadline. But I mean, y'all got it.
Yes. And then after that, we're going to have interviews. So once you fill out the form, and also some of you guys might have already filled it out and you didn't get something, don't worry, we're going to send it out. But at some point after you've filled out the form, we're going to send you a Sign Up Genius link for interviews. So we're going to have interviews the week of August 24th through the 27th. They will be open from 3 to 4. And they'll be like 10 to 15 minute interviews, nothing super long. We're not gonna like keep you there for like an hour. And yeah, so you'll just sign up. And if that time doesn't work for you at all in those like 3 days, 4 days, just reach out. Honestly, we can like plan something earlier or later or a different day, whatever works for you. Just reach out to us. But we will send you that link. And also, don't be nervous about interviews. They are not, we just want to talk with you. We want to see where we think that you would fit best. We want all of you guys on the leadership team. We're not going to like say like, Hope, you can't be on it. We don't want you. Like, of course not. We want you. We want all of you. So the interview is just so that we can see where your heart is at and where you're, what you're thinking and what you want. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And they're only going to be like 10 to 15 minutes long, so we're not going to like attack you or whatever. Um, Also, the first leadership meeting will be August 28th, and we'll get you the list of the leadership positions by August 28th in the morning. Basically, that'll be the Friday, the end of the week after interviews. And the reason why we're doing it on a Friday instead of a Wednesday like we usually do, is just because of the interviews that are happening that week. And then it'll start going back to normal Wednesdays after school. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, so that's all. And yeah, like we said, just don't feel nervous at all for auditions or interviews. It's just so we know where to place you. And then also, if you're watching this video that I'm recording right now on Instagram or something, the Google form is in our Instagram bio, and also the remind code if you haven't joined. Make sure to do that. DM us if you have any questions. We'd love to help you out there. And I'm gonna end the meeting.